Hey friends, I'm Stacy and this is Gorgeously Aging, and today I'm going to share with you how I have fixed my under eyes. You guys, let me just show you a photo of what my under eyes, or around my eye, I should say, not just the under eye, looked like a decade ago. And honestly, until I went back and looked at this photo, I hadn't really truly appreciated the improvement that I had been able to make with my eyes. So let me show you the before and after photo. The first photo on the left, I am looking down, so my face looks a little bit different because of the angle. But this was a photo taken in Hawaii. My husband and I were on vacation. I do have a tiny bit of makeup, like tinted sunscreen and a little bit of eye makeup on in the before picture. Where the after picture, I do have a little more makeup. But the point of this before and after is just the improvement that I've made around my eyes. Now, obviously, there's other improvement, my cheeks, my jawline, my lips, but today we are just focusing on the eye area. So I am actually quite astounded, and this is one of those things, kind of like working out. Like you have to put in consistency, do it regularly, and then eventually you look back and you think, wow, look at all these gains I've made by lifting weights or by going to the gym. And the same is true with so many aspects of skincare. For those of you who use tretinoin or Retin-A, you know that's a long-term game and you don't see results overnight, but you do see them pretty profoundly over time. So I want to share with you guys the 11 things that I have done. None of them are surgical, to improve my eye area, my under eye area, crow's feet, and even the lift in my upper eyelids. So just want to say that there's absolutely nothing wrong with taking a surgical route. When the day comes that I need blepharoplasty, and I have looked into it because I do have a little more laxity under my eyes because of my weight loss. But when the time comes, I am very open to it. And doing these things yourself isn't for everyone, or going to a med spa and having these treatments isn't for everyone. So for those that choose a surgical intervention, I am 1,000% in support of that. Everyone needs to do what they feel is right for them and their situation. So I'm going to just remove, well, maybe I should leave that image there so that as I'm talking, you guys can kind of reference that. So the first thing that I started doing consistently around that 10-year mark, 10 years ago, was monthly microneedling. Now, microneedling in and of itself boosts collagen. When the needles penetrate the skin, it signals a collagen building response. So regardless of the skin booster that's used, needling is great for the skin, not just the under eyes, but the skin in general. I do it every single month, and I generally use a high quality skin booster. And I have done a blog post to outline everything that I've used, the skin boosters I use, more thoroughly for those who want to look at the actual products that I'm using and the discount codes available. You can find that at gorgeouslyaging.com/eyes. I'll list this whole outline of everything that I've done, products I've used, discount codes, all at that blog post. So moving on, the next thing that I did that I think has been profoundly effective is Botox, botulinum toxin around the eyes. So when you treat the muscle around the eyes, which is called the orbicularis oculi, that muscle is a sphincter muscle that has a closing down or clamping down effect. So if we go back to that first picture that I showed you, and we look at how my eyes are squinted, that's the result of the orbicularis oculi muscle around the eyes squeezing down. When that muscle is relaxed with botulinum toxin, it relaxes the whole muscle, allowing the eye to open more, allowing the eyebrow to lift, and smoothing out the lower wrinkles and the crow's feet wrinkles. This is something I do as part of my tox treatment every 3 months. Some people only get tox twice a year because it lasts longer for them. I've found as I've aged, I need to do it every 3 months for it to stay looking nice. I do like my tox to completely wear off before I retreat, so sometimes it may stretch into the 4th month, but typically I do it quarterly. So I think that that tox around the eye is such a valuable treatment. So mesotherapy is my number 3. So mesotherapy is a little different than microneedling in that you're doing little teeny tiny injections with just little blebs of a skin booster to repair the skin. And this not only repairs the surface of the skin, but it also treats the skin on a cellular level if you're using the right skin booster. I like to use a polynucleotide-based skin booster for that skin repair, rejuvenation, and boost of collagen. This is something that you can do on your whole face, neck, chest, backs of hands, as well as microneedling, or you can do just the eye area if that is your area of focus. The eye skin booster that I use is listed at that blog post. So again, I'm not going to waste a lot of time talking about specific products, but I do have that full list at the blog post, gorgeouslyaging.com/eyes. Now, as I continue on with this video and tell you all the things that I've done over the 10 years, remember that you don't have to do all of these things. Sometimes it's a matter of picking one or two things to try, but the key is consistency. Typically, these kinds of things are not a one and done type of solution. Like going to the gym, you don't just go once and have the perfect body. With really good skin over time and over your life, it's that discipline of doing it consistently. So moving on from mesotherapy, number 4 is PDO threads. PDO threads are polydioxanone threads that are made up of suture material, so dissolvable stitches material. It's very compatible within the human body, and threads get such a bad name because there's almost a surgical method of doing threads that are really thick, they're cog, they go in really deep with a cannula, they get pulled up to pull the face, and often they'll leave dimpling, bumps, sometimes nodules, and there have been horror stories about these threads breaking and then the face looking funny. If you use a webbing or smaller threads that are PDO threads, and you fan them into the skin in a way that creates a collagen meshwork, this gives support to the skin. That support structure is kind of like scaffolding. So as the threads dissolve, and PDO threads dissolve the fastest, by the way, which is what I like about them, as this meshwork of threads dissolve, they leave behind natural collagen. Over the last decade, I've used hundreds of thread, building my own natural collagen and creating a webbing, very delicate webbing under the skin to help hold up or support the skin like scaffolding. These are also helpful under the eyes. Little shorter threads that go into the skin under the eyes and into the tear trough area that build natural collagen and can be a much more flattering and safer option to filler. So dermal filler always comes with the risk of vascular occlusion, where threads really don't have those risks. When they're quite easy to do, and when done properly, they heal quickly, they look nice, and they build natural collagen. So threads have been an important part of my anti-aging journey and my under eye rejuvenation. So aside from threads, I'm looking at my notes here, number 5 is a small amount of under eye filler. Now, filler can be overdone under the eyes and create puffiness and bags, and unless done properly, it can make the situation worse instead of better. So over the years, I've only done filler under my eyes 2 to 3 times. So it's something that I've done very little of, but I have augmented that thread use with some filler in the tear trough and just a little bit underneath the eye where there's been some volume loss. I don't think the filler that I've done has been a substantial improvement. I think the threads have really done a great job for me. Regular microneedling has done a great job for me. And the use of mesotherapy under the eyes also is something I really contribute my results to. So just so that you guys can keep going back to this image, because I am kind of astounded really when I look back at it, how much improvement I've actually got over this time. I wanted to show this image again. So now going on to number 6, which is TCA peel. I try to do a TCA peel twice a year. They are so easy to do. And I've actually talked to a couple dermatologists who have said they think people who do regular TCA peels, meaning like twice a year on a consistent basis, actually get better long-term results than people who invest in CO2 laser. Now, don't get me wrong, I think CO2 laser is a super valuable tool for people who have textured skin. If you have acne scarring or a lot of texture on your skin, the CO2 laser will do an incredible job, but it is expensive and there is significant downtime. So when I heard from this dermatologist that he actually thinks that regular, consistent TCA peels give long-term better results, I was really stoked because I think that it's so easy, it's affordable, and when done properly and consistently, it gives the skin so many benefits, including improved texture of the skin, improving the look or minimizing pores, and helping that under eye tissue. So when I do a TCA peel, obviously I'm very careful around the eyes because you don't want to get acid in your eyes, but you definitely want to get that under eye skin, which will rejuvenate the skin. So I do that twice a year. So number 7 is use of a Nira laser. So I'm not big on skincare devices. I've used a lot of them over the years, but only a few types of devices have stuck in my routine because they work not only for me, but scientifically, clinical data shows that they work. So one of those is the Nira laser. So the Nira precision laser is one that has a small head. I also have the Pro laser for doing the rest of my face, neck, and chest. But the Precision has that very tiny hole at the end where the laser comes out, and it's perfect for around the eyes. So if the eyes is your focus, this emits heat, and essentially that heat will trigger the collagen production. So many devices that are used in med spas and also home devices, they're mode of treatment is heat-based, and so that is what the Nira laser does, is a heat-based treatment. I use this consistently, sometimes when on a lazy week 3 times, and sometimes every single day. So it can be used regularly. And when you first start using the Nira laser, especially around that delicate eye tissue, it's important to ease into it and then see what works for you as far as frequency. Some people do it every other night with really great results. So I do think the Nira lasers are a good investment. I do have a discount code, and I will leave that at the blog post, gorgeouslyaging.com/eyes. So another device that I think is worth investing in is a good red LED light mask. Now, I started using red LED light like 10 years ago, and I bought a ridiculously expensive mask from England. I think it was called a Boost mask. I still have it, but I don't use it. It was well over $500. I now use the Magellan mask, and the Magellan mask is, I have both the face and the neck mask. It's less expensive. The technology on it is great as far as its specs are almost the same as many other high-end masks. And it works really good. I particularly like the neck and chest bib because, like so many people, I've neglected my chest compared to my face. And so I'm trying to reduce some of that visible damage on my chest as well with both red LED light and with the Nira Pro laser. So I also have a discount code on the Magellan mask. So if you're going to pull the trigger on that, definitely take advantage of that discount. And it's not that expensive compared to so many other masks, but the specs are nearly identical. So moving on, estrogen, you guys. I had to look at my cheat sheet because I don't want to get lost from where I am. I take an estrogen patch that is prescribed to me, but I also use a topical, non-prescribed estrogen cream that is over the counter. The one I get is from Amazon. It's easy to use. I just do a couple pumps of the estrogen and then a pea-sized amount of my moisturizer, mix it on my fingers, and put it all over my face. I smear it down into my neck and chest as well, but my focus is like my face and neck. So this is a estrogen that isn't as powerful as prescription estrogen, but you don't want to use prescription estrogen on the face. So that powerful estrogen that they use for hormone replacement therapy, it's called estradiol. That is not the same as estriol, which is another very important estrogen in our body. And that's the one we want on our face, and that's not prescribed. So you can readily get good estrogen creams to treat the face. And the one I use is from Amazon. It's cost effective. And if you see things pop up on your Instagram that says prescription face estrogen, it's kind of a lie because they're giving you estriol, which is non-prescription, making you think you're getting something that's prescription only. So I kind of have beef with some of those companies and their marketing, because you can readily get estrogen topical cream in the estriol form without a prescription. So that is something that I credit to also the anti-aging effects, my skin feeling more supple, being more firm, and just, menopause can trigger a rapid onset of aging. I'm postmenopausal now. I'm almost 54. I do the estrogen patch, which I change out twice a week, and the estrogen cream on my face. So I think that's one really important aspect to consider when you're looking at your anti-aging treatments and anti-aging eye solutions. All right, you guys, number 10, so important. We all hear it, but something I want to tell you about sunscreen. So number 10 is sunscreen. And I'm using the Kopari Bright as Day Mineral Sunscreen SPF 50. That we all know we need to use sunscreen, but when you're making the effort to do treatments on your skin to improve, say, your eye wrinkles or crow's feet or whatever it is that you're trying to improve, it's important to protect that investment that you're making. So I look at the sunscreen as an absolutely like non-negotiable, but I also often wear hats. If you're following me on Instagram, you'll see in a lot of my photos I'm wearing a baseball cap. So I wear hats a lot. I wear sunglasses a lot. I always take walks with hats on. And if I'm at the pool, I might get a few minutes of sun, but I typically choose a chair that's under an umbrella. And it's not necessarily because of vanity, although you want to prevent future damage, but you also want to protect the investment and time that you've put into treating the skin. So if you're using a laser on your skin to treat hyperpigmentation, or a laser around your eyes to treat the eye wrinkles, and then you're going tanning, you're kind of undoing the work that you've done. It's kind of like, don't bother with all that other stuff. If having a tan is really a big, important priority to you, then maybe just accept that with heavy tanning comes the sun damage, which causes wrinkles and causes hyperpigmentation and causes all of those things. So, and when I say that, it sounds a little strict maybe, but it really is the truth. It's kind of like lighting money on fire if you're not protecting your skin from sun damage. So, and I get a tiny bit of color in the summer, even though I feel like I'm a sunscreen freak. I do get a tiny bit of sun from just life, but I do try to wear a hat and sunscreen, and I always take touch-up sunscreen in my bag or swim bag, in my purse. I have sunscreen on me all the time. And if I have makeup on, I have a powder sunscreen to reapply sunscreen. So it is worth being a freak about sunscreen. Now, my number 11, and this is super important too, is consistency. So just like getting fit takes consistency and dedication, so too does great skin and anti-aging. So if you're consistent, if you just pick one or two things off the list that I've shared and you're consistent with it, you'll see results. Like, I can't imagine you won't see results if you just stay consistent. If you start with monthly microneedling and you do it every month, you use a reasonably priced skin booster, over time, you're going to see the results from that. Same thing with red LED light or the Nira Laser. The key is consistency. So I think a lot of people, they want that one and done. They want that miracle where you use it a couple times and then all of a sudden you look 20 years younger. And unfortunately, aside from surgery, it just doesn't work that way. And even with surgery, if someone isn't taking care of their skin after surgery, they're going to run into some of those same problems again. So for me, I've been able to reverse aging and improve my overall skin health and just really meet my anti-aging goals with these 11 steps. And again, you guys can check that out at the blog post gorgeouslyaging.com/eyes. I didn't tell you the skin boosters that I use because so many people like to attack me online and report me. And so I'm very careful about what I say, but definitely you can check out that blog post for more information about the skin boosters that I use. And if you're not someone that feels comfortable doing things on your own, definitely check out a med spa near you and just get a quote on maybe one treatment and see what that does for you. The Orbicularis Oculi Botox is a fantastic treatment to try because it opens the eyes, it smooths the crow's feet, it gives the under eye a little more smoothness, treats those wrinkles subtly. and can lift the lateral aspect of the brow, giving that brow a brow lift. So you can get impressive results with just doing that. And I would say if I had to narrow it down, if I could only do one treatment for my under eyes, God, that would be so hard because I do so much. But I think the Botox actually probably has the biggest impact. So I think all of these things together have really been what has helped me achieve my goals. But certainly one or two things on this list could really be super helpful. And here are my results before and after. Granted, the angle of the face is a little bit different. Somebody said I look like a witch in my first one because my head is down. So when your head is down, like I'll show you right now, when your head is tipped down, you know, the nose looks completely different. So nothing was done to my nose between those two pictures, but you know, you can see the jawline, the lips. I will say quick, you guys, that my jaw looks shorter, and that's not surgical, that was braces. So I had a palate expander for like 3 months, and I went through braces in my 40s, and it made such a difference in my face. I always hated my chin when my jawline, my jaw was kind of off kilter. What do you call it? A crossbite. So I had a pretty severe crossbite, and I had braces when I was 16, and then I went back and got braces again in my 40s. And when I was 16, they didn't do a palate expander. I had a very narrow palate and a severe crossbite. When they took that time to expand my upper palate, it totally changed my jaw. Like everything went out, the chin went up, and I didn't really even realize the significance it made in my jaw until I was done with the whole braces process and I looked back. But you can see it almost looks like my chin looks smaller because my palate spread out and then everything moved up. So that, if you are somebody who has a bad bite and that's affecting your lower face, that's also something to consider. That has nothing to do with eyes, but I just thought since I'm looking at this photo, I would share that little nugget of information with you guys. So I'm just going to pop over to comments, and I see Valium is here. Happy to see you glowing. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. You guys, I'm going to be doing more regular lives and more regular posting over on my Rumble channel, which is rumble.com/gorgeouslyaging, for all my facial rejuvenation videos. And I'm really excited to be more active and more engaged and doing more lives. It's been a rough few years, but I feel like I'm ready to get back on the horse. So join me for more regular lives throughout the week here on my YouTube channel and some lives over at Rumble. And I'm also available. You can find me at Gorgeously Aging on all my other socials, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Threads. So just search at Gorgeously Aging and you will find me. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I will see you in my next video.